of really understanding that concept of you're going to have to do what you're going to do, and it can't have anything to do with what another person thinks or believes you should do.
Yeah. I just had that conversation with a friend of mine, actually, the person who I co-host the radio show with, and I sent her a text. We usually correspond via Facebook, so other people can see the conversation.
Really, that's really cool.
I had to send her a text, and she was like, "This is interesting. Why are you sending me the text? You usually she put something on Facebook, and I responded via text between me and her instead of responding on Facebook." And I said to her, I said, "I'm sending you this text because I really resonated with what you said, and you're absolutely right, because the question becomes, who do I need to become in consciousness to bring the vision forward? So who do I need to become in consciousness first, so that whatever is wishing to emerge through me has to be able to freely flow through me? What do I need to change?" And then the third question was, and who do I need to let go? And I said, now, let me just say this. That wasn't me talking. I don't know who that was. Because I don't talk about letting people go. I've been older people for 30, 40, 50 years. I'm like, well, who said that? I got the part 1 and 2. And I'm texting her saying, and I found myself alone saying, wait a minute, who said that? Who said I got to let somebody go? And she responded and said, oh, yeah, I've been there. And I can tell you this much. Even if you try to move away, go on to another state or just another state of living, people will not let you cut them off. You have to literally say, you're cut. It's kind of like Donald Trump, you're fired.
Really?
I mean, I would think, like, for me, I would get it. I would be like, okay, I haven't talked to her in a year. She must need this, right? She said, no. She said, people will literally call you after a year and say, okay, now that I gave you a year, let's pick up where we left off from. And I was really, really, like, I couldn't say anything. I was almost stunned, because I was like, really? What I realized is I'm going to have to let people go. Okay,
now I want to know what you think about this, because one of my pet peeves, it's particularly with my brother, because you have to understand, all he talks about, I live my life vicariously through him, because he's in the world, so to speak.
Exactly.
So understanding, but his dominating conversation that irritates me to no end is, I need to let some people go. And I always say to him, well, before you let those people go, would you please at least get in the mirror and deal with that person first? I said, because you can let them go and you can move to Timbuktu, but if you have not addressed those internal issues.
And I don't even think you'll so much have to, once you become whatever it is that you are becoming in consciousness, I don't even think you'll have to let people go. I think people will go away.
Well, okay, and I believe that as well, because I'm a strong believer, and it will never ever be about cutting anybody off, because I don't believe, number one, that's the consciousness level of God. I said, but if you want to get human and you want to put it into another context, you might want to think about it. And this is exactly how I think about it, because of course we all want to get rid of the negative energy in our life. Unfortunately, most of us don't realize that the negative energy is coming from us. But anyway,
because if you're vibrating at that level, then it's a reason why they can continue to connect with you.
Well, or get you. And we're going to talk about why is it that we allow them to have so much power and control at this particular point in our lives anyway. But the point that I want to make is getting to the human consciousness level of letting somebody go. I always say to them, why don't you just think about really elevating yourself to such a high level that they just wouldn't be able to fly at that altitude, and then you won't have to get rid of them. Because if they're not supposed to be there, then they won't be there. But rest assured of this, because this is the problem that I have, is that, well, if you haven't corrected the situation and that problem in that relationship, and you think I'm going to cut that off, and then you're going to go on with your life, well, good luck. Because if you have not learned the lesson from your core for that reason that person took so much from you or whatever. I always say, if you didn't get the lesson and you cut them off, another one 2 weeks, 3 months down the road is going to come into your life and it's going to do the same thing.
Exactly.
So I'm a strong believer, and there's not going to be a conversation about getting rid of anybody. That's not a leadership mentality, number one, and it's childish, number two. Exactly. Because in most cases it's because we can't say to the person directly, no, and no means no.
We cannot say to the person directly.